You are listening to Story at the Midnight Story Bureau YouTube channel. The following is the Reverend Insanity series. Episode 4. Chapter 31. Fang Yuan. You're in big trouble. I've been diligently practicing basic martial arts for 7 days. Yet I could only withstand 2 moves from Fang Yuan before he knocked me unconscious again. Humiliation. Utter humiliation. Gu Yue Mobei's heart was filled with shame and anger. In the courtyard, he continuously punched and kicked the wooden dummy, the sounds echoing loudly. Just then, a soft laugh rang out. "Little brother, do you have some deep-seated hatred for the wooden dummy that you hate it so much?" Hearing this familiar voice, Gu Yue Mobei's expression relaxed. He stopped attacking and turned around. "Sister, you're back." "Yes, I was on a reconnaissance mission sent out by the family for over 10 days. Gu Yue Moyan replied with a smile. She was Mobei's older sister, now a mid-stage second-rank Gu master. But in an instant, her expression changed, and a fierce look appeared in her eyes. "Little brother, what happened to that wound on your face? Who bullied you?" "Ah, nothing. It's just that I accidentally fell and hit my head." Mobei seemed flustered, hastily making up an excuse. He didn't want his sister to know about his predicament. He, the future ruler of the Mo family, the biological grandson of Gu Yue Mo Chen, had been knocked unconscious twice in a row. Fortunately, he wasn't the only one unlucky. Others had suffered as well. "Ha! Is that so? Then you must be careful. By the way, you shouldn't practice your martial arts like that. Without a defensive collar, you should wrap your hands and feet in thick cloth to protect him from injury." Gu Yue Moyan gave a few instructions before leaving. "Greetings, young lady. Greetings, young lady. The eldest young lady has returned. Your servant greets the eldest young lady." Gu Yue Moyan walked quickly forward, her demeanor cold and aloof. Along the way, every servant she encountered bowed respectfully. She arrived at the study, and without announcing herself, pushed open the door and entered. Inside, Gu Yue Mo Chen stood with his back to her, practicing calligraphy at his desk. "You've returned?" Gu Yue Mo Chen asked directly without turning around. "You've been scouting outside for over half a month. How's the situation at the wolf den?" "Grandfather, how did you know it was me?" Mo Yan asked, startled. "HMPH. In this whole house, besides you, who else dares to rely on my indulgence and disregard the rules? Not even bothering to knock," Gu Yue Mo Chen said in a reproachful tone. But when he turned around, his expression softened, his eyes smiling at Mo Yan. Mak Enan pouted. "Speaking of pampering, Grandpa actually pampers my younger brother more. It's just that my younger brother will have to take power later." She paused for a moment, then asked again, "Grandpa, why was my younger brother beaten?" "I just asked him, and he lied. I couldn't force him, so I had to come and ask you." Gu Yue Mo Chen frowned. "You still haven't answered my question." He put down his pen, pulled a chair over, and slowly sat down. Mo Yan had no choice but to report. "The wolf den is almost full. Based on this reproduction rate, there won't be a wolf tide * this year. But there will definitely be a wolf tide attacking the mountain stronghold next year. Wolf tide can be understood as a large pack attack by wolves. Anyone who reads a lot of Xiangxia novels will know. It's similar to a beast tide." Gu Yue Mo Chen asked again. "Basically, there will be a wolf tide every 3 years. So this is nothing surprising. But how many crown wolves are there in that pack?" Original text, Thunder Crown Wolf. Literally meaning a wolf wearing a thunder crown. "About 3, Mo Yan replied. Gu Yue Mo Chen nodded, relieved. The crown wolf is the leader of the wolf pack. When a wolf tide attacks the mountain stronghold, it's the most difficult to deal with. 3 crown wolves aren't that many, since there are 3 mountain strongholds on King Mao Mountain. Each stronghold handles a part of the burden, reducing the pressure from the wolf tide." "Grandpa, you still haven't told me about my younger brother. Mo Yan asked reluctantly. It's all right to tell you. Mo Bei was beaten up. Once 7 days ago. And today is the second time. He was beaten so badly he was lying face down at the school gate. Unconscious both times. Gu Yue Mo Chen said with a smile. Who would be so audacious as to knock my younger brother unconscious? Mo Yan glared. That's his classmate. His name is Fang Yuan. He's very good at fighting. Gu Yue Mo Chen chuckled. Mo Yan's eyes widened in confusion, asking, Grandpa, what are you saying? Mo Bei is your own grandson. Gu Yue Mo Chen looked at his granddaughter meaningfully. His words profound. Mo Yan, you're a girl, so you might not understand. Failure and humiliation will make a person improve. Without failure, a mature and sensible man cannot be forged. Mo Bei was defeated. That was his failure. He's regained his senses and started seeking guidance in martial arts from the guards. This is progress. And this progress is precisely because Fang Yuan awakened him. You are his biological sister. If you truly want to protect him, you shouldn't interfere with his growth. Fang Yuan is just a poor, low-class boy, while Mo Bei has top-tier talent. And we're behind him. Sooner or later, he'll trample Fang Yuan under his feet. Leave this rival to Mo Bei. In a woman's life, she needs lovers and friends. But in a man's life, friends, relatives, and lovers are optional. What's indispensable is a rival. You shouldn't go and pick a fight with Fang Yuan. Understand, this is a small matter among peers. Your involvement is bullying the weak, breaking the rules, and others will look down on our Mo family. Mo Yan opened her mouth to speak several times, but under Gu Yue Mo Chen's watchful gaze, she could only reply, Yes, grandfather, your granddaughter understands. She bowed her head and left the study, so even Gu Yue Mo Chen didn't notice the unusual glint in her eyes. Grandfather, this is how you spoil your grandson. But Mo Yan also has her own way of protecting her younger brother. Mo Yan had long harbored other intentions in her heart. In the hotel dining room, several tables were already occupied, making the place quite lively. One or two waiters scurried back and forth like shuttles, carrying trays of food. Fang Yuan sat at a table near the window. After choosing a few dishes, he ate while looking out the window, gazing into the distance. On the horizon, the setting sun blazed like fire. The sun had already sunk more than halfway down, yet it lingered, taking one last lingering look. Its twilight gaze a persistent, unwavering return. The distant mountains were shrouded in twilight. On the road beside him, groups of people were returning home. Some were barefoot farmers with mud-stained feet. Some were herb gatherers carrying bamboo baskets on their backs. Some were hunters carrying pheasants, wild boars, and other animals. And there were also some Gu masters. They often wore blue martial arts uniforms with wide sashes around their waists. Their appearance sharp and experienced. These belts were very eye-catching. The belts of first-rank Gu masters were blue, with a copper plate inlaid on the front bearing the character 1. Second-rank Gu masters wore red belts with a steel plate in the middle, engraved with the character 2. Fang Yuan sat by the window, observing for a while. He saw 6 or 7 first-rank Gu masters, mostly young men. There was also one second-rank Gu master, a middle-aged man. As for third-rank Gu masters, they were usually elders. Fourth-rank Gu masters were clan leaders, heads of camps. Fifth-rank Gu masters were very rare. In the history of the Gu Yue tribe, there had only been the first and fourth clan leaders. Actually, observing and assessing the strength of a clan is very simple. Just find a spot in the mountain stronghold, sit down, and carefully observe the passersby for an hour. See how many first-rank Gu masters and how many second-rank Gu masters there are. That way, you can discern the inner workings and strength of this clan. In his heart, Fang Yuan silently summarized an experience. Like Gu Yue mountain village, 20 people were traveling on the road, including 6 Gu masters. Among these 6 Gu masters, there was a 50% chance that one would be a second-rank Gu master. Gu Yue Mountain Village, relying on its strength and resources, had seized the most resources in King Mao Mountain. It could be said that they were the overlords of King Mao Mountain. However, King Mao Mountain was just a small corner of the vast southern border. In the entire southern border, Gu Yue Mountain Village could only be considered a mid-level clan. I've only just begun cultivating. With only a first-rank initial stage cultivation, I don't even have the qualifications to wander the southern border alone. At least I need third-rank strength to be able to go far. Fang Yuan sighed inwardly while eating. King Mao Mountain was too small to contain his ambitions. He was destined to leave. Ha ha, Gu Yue Fang Yuan, I've finally found you. Just then, a middle-aged man approached with a sneer. Ha, Fang Yuan turned his head and saw the man's face. As yellow as wax, with thick, pointed eyebrows, yet a tall, muscular physique. He was approaching, his arms crossed in front of his chest. His gaze fixed on Fang Yuan, who was sitting and eating. A sharp glint flashed in his narrow, elongated eyes. Fang Yuan, you're in big trouble, do you know that? He, you dared to hit our young master of the Mo family. Now Miss Mo Yan is searching everywhere for you to settle the score. The middle-aged man sneered incessantly. He looked Fang Yuan up and down, a vaguely oppressive aura emanating from him. Chapter 32. Joking. If an ordinary person were threatened by this middle-aged man's gaze, they would likely be terrified. However, after Fang Yuan glanced at him, he lost interest and continued to focus on the food on the table, treating the man beside him as if he were invisible. Who is that man? He's dressed as a servant, not even a Gu master. Yet he dares to question young master Fang Yuan. The waiter, seeing the situation was getting out of hand, immediately retreated to a corner, looking around and asking in confusion. HMPH. He's just using someone else's authority. It's obvious he's a servant of the Mo family, relying on his connections to dare to yell at a Gu master. If it were just another ordinary person, who would dare to have this audacity? Someone nearby scoffed. That's true, but the fact that an ordinary person dares to yell at a Gu master, TSK. It must be quite satisfying. HMPH. Don't think Gu masters are too powerful. Young Master Fang Yuan is only a first-stage Gu, having just refined his life-bound Gu. If they really fight, he might not even be able to defeat this tall, ordinary mortal. Sigh, I just hope they don't damage anything in our inn when they fight later. The waiters chimed in, but none dared to come out, only cowering and watching. I didn't expect you to still be eating and drinking. Seeing that his words didn't scare Fang Yuan, the tall, middle-aged man's eyes narrowed menacingly. Do you think I'm deceiving you? Someone has already informed the young lady, and she'll be here soon. Kid, don't even think about escaping. Of course, you won't get away anyway. I'm here to keep an eye on you. Just sit still and wait. Fang Yuan acted as if he hadn't heard, continuing to eat. The servant frowned. He saw no trace of fear on Fang Yuan's face. This made him feel disrespected and his dignity insulted. He had been a servant in the Mo family for several decades, highly trusted by his masters. After interacting with them for a long time, he also knew a few things about Gu masters. First-stage Gu masters still relied heavily on martial arts in combat. In the battles of first-stage Gu masters, Gu insects were more of a deterrent than a practical weapon. Especially since he knew that a young Gu master like Fang Yuan had only just begun cultivating. His own strength was far inferior to that of someone in their prime like himself. If they fought to the death, he, with his long-honed cultivation, could completely gain the upper hand. Moreover, Fang Yuan had only refined the Moonlight Gu, and at most, he could only unleash a few moonblades. The middle-aged man was very experienced and self-aware. He had already made up his mind, the moonblade, driven by the first stage of the true essence, If it truly struck a person's body, would at most only inflict a wound the size of a hand. Its destructive power was limited. Moreover, he had the Mo family backing him. Therefore, when facing Fang Yuan, he felt no fear, only wanting to perform well, hoping for rewards and the respect of his masters. "Kid, you're very bold." The man's voice grew even more menacing. Then, he rolled up his sleeves, revealing his strong arms. These two arms were incredibly muscular, covered in scars, with prominent blue veins curving along the forearms. Their size was even greater than an average person's calf. The inn's waiters shuddered at the sight. Some diners quickly stood up, hastily paid their bills, and left this troublesome place. "Have you found Fang Yuan?" Just then, a clear and arrogant female voice rang out from outside the door. Mo Yan strode into the hotel, followed by a group of household servants. Her figure wasn't bad. She was quite tall and curvaceous. However, she had a horse-like face, a characteristic inherited from the Mo family, which greatly diminished her beauty, making her only moderately attractive. Nevertheless, she wore a blue martial arts uniform with a red belt around her waist, adorned with a square steel plate engraved with the eye-catching character, "To." Furthermore, she had just returned from a family mission, and still retained a weathered air. These things gave her an oppressive presence. Therefore, as soon as she entered the hotel, the entire dining room fell silent. "Your servant, Cao Wan, greets the young lady." The middle-aged man's expression immediately changed upon seeing Mo Yan. His face was full of obsequious smiles. He bowed deeply, taking small steps, then knelt down on the ground, greeting Mo Yan. Seeing this transformation of the middle-aged man, the inn's waiters were stunned. Cao Wan's tall, burly figure and subservient demeanor looked ridiculous and somewhat comical. However, the waiters couldn't bring themselves to laugh. This behavior of the middle-aged servant only highlighted Mo Yan's dominance. Some waiters secretly broke out in a cold sweat for Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was their most important customer. Any misfortune would affect their business, which was very bad. The majority secretly prayed in their hearts, hoping Fang Yuan would surrender. Because if he actually started fighting and damaged something in the inn, that would be even worse. Mo Yan ignored Cao Wan, who was kneeling on the ground, her eyes fixed on Fang Yuan. She took a few steps towards the table, her tone extremely harsh. "You are Fang Yuan. It seems you're enjoying your meal. Ha ha, I wonder if you've ever tasted a fist. Let me invite you to try it. Perhaps it's even more delicious." Although she said this, Mo Yan didn't immediately attack. Fang Yuan's demeanor was too calm. Very strange. Could he be hiding some other powerful backer? But that's not it. I investigated before coming here. This Fang Yuan is clearly an orphan. His parents died early, and he was kicked out of the house by his uncle and aunt. Moreover, his talent is only of the B grade. What kind of backer could such a weakling have? Mo Yan muttered to herself. But no matter what, unusual circumstances must have something strange about them. She needed to investigate further. Fang Yuan chuckled, glancing at Mo Yan. "Who told you I'm Gu Yue Fang Yuan?" Mo Yan was startled, immediately turning to look at Gao Wan. Gao Wan, who had just stood up, immediately knelt down again, cold sweat streaming down his forehead, stammering, not knowing how to answer, "Master, this servant, this servant." They had a portrait of Fang Yuan, but they also knew that Fang Yuan and Fang Zheng were twin brothers. Their appearances extremely similar. No wonder this young man wasn't afraid. It turns out he's Fang Zheng, not Fang Yuan. For a moment, the servants beside Mo Yan all speculated the same thing. Fang Yuan can't compare to Fang Zheng. The former only has a B-grade talent, alone and without support. The latter is a B-grade genius, already brought into the clan leader's faction during the awakening ceremony. As long as he matures, his future is limitless. Mo Yan, not getting a definitive answer from Gao Wan, became even more hesitant. At this moment, the only people who knew Fang Yuan's true identity were the waiters in the corner of the room. But they couldn't afford to offend any faction, so they all kept their mouths shut. Fang Yuan had finished eating, and he leisurely stood up, calmly looking at Mo Yan. "Didn't you want to find Fang Yuan? Follow me, I'll take you to the academy's dormitory to find him. If this person is Fang Zheng, I don't want to offend him. If it's Fang Yuan, I'll just follow him closely. I'm not afraid of him impersonating him." In just a moment, Mo Yan weighed the pros and cons and immediately made a decision. "Okay, I'll go to the academy with you. Please." Mo Yan stepped aside, making a gesture of invitation, her eyes sparkling as she signaled to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan chuckled, raised his head, and walked away. Mo Yan followed closely behind, and the servants behind her also followed suit. That was dangerous. Finally, they're leaving. Even if there's a fight, it won't concern our inn anymore. The inn's waiters all patted their chests, overjoyed. The group arrived at the academy gate. Stop. Stop. Only native Gu masters are allowed to enter and exit the academy freely. 2 guards stood at the gate, blocking Fang Yuan and Mo Yan's group. "Impudent. You don't even recognize me, and you dare stop me?" Mo Yan glared at the 2 men, scolding them. "We wouldn't dare." The guards quickly bowed. "Miss Mo Yan, we all remember you. However, the clan rules do stipulate this. So, miss, you can bring 1 servant with you. This is our biggest concession." A seemingly experienced guard respectfully replied. Mo Yan snorted coldly, although slightly displeased. She didn't dare openly violate the clan rules. The Mo family was powerful, but that also meant that a tall tree attracts strong winds. Don't forget that besides the Mo family, there was the Qi family, which held equal status, and besides the Qi family, there was the clan chief's faction waiting to exploit any weakness in the Mo family. "You all stay here. Cao Wan, follow me." After a moment's thought, Mo Yan gave the order. Cao Wan raised her head and puffed out her chest, her face beaming with joy. "Thank you for your kind words, miss. Let's go, Junior." Mo Yan smiled meaningfully at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's expression remained calm as before. He led the way inside. He walked to the dormitory door, unlocked it, and pushed it open. He took 1 step inside and then stopped. The door was wide open, revealing everything at a glance. The room was simply furnished, and there was absolutely no one else around. Mo Yan stood at the doorway, peering inside once, his expression darkening. "Junior, you'd better explain clearly. There's no one in the room." Fang Yuan smiled. "Am I not a person?" Mo Yan stared at Fang Yuan, his eyes flashing as if he had just understood. "I'm looking for Gu Yue." Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan chuckled softly. "I never said I wasn't Gu Yue Fang Yuan." Chapter 33. Go ahead and curse. "What?" Mo Yan raised her eyebrows, beginning to get angry. Finally, she realized she had been toyed with by Fang Yuan. "Ha, how audacious. You even dared to deceive me. Your aunt." Having said that, she extended her right hand, intending to grab Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan didn't back down, raising his head and laughing heartily. "Mo Yan, have you thought this through?" Mo Yan's movements suddenly stopped. She remained standing outside the door, her right hand halfway outstretched, her face showing a mixture of hesitation and anger. The family had written regulations stating that students were protected within the academy, and no one was allowed to arbitrarily enter the dormitory to abduct a student. Today, Mo Yan only wanted to teach Fang Yuan a lesson, to let him suffer, and absolutely did not want to bear the consequences of violating the family rules. "It's fine if I violate the family rules alone. I'm only afraid of implicating my family, implicating my grandfather." Thinking this, Mo Yan resentfully withdrew her hand. She glared at Fang Yuan, who was in the room. If the anger in her eyes could turn into fire, it would have instantly burned Fang Yuan to ashes. I truly never lied to you. I said I would lead you to find Fang Yuan. And now you found him. It seems you have something to say to me. Fang Yuan clasped his hands behind his back, a smile on his lips, showing no fear of the aura of a second-rank Gu master or any apprehension in receiving Mo Yan's furious gaze. The distance between him and Mo Yan was only a step. One was inside the room, the other outside. But this distance felt like an insurmountable chasm. Ha ha, Fang Yuan, I didn't expect you to have studied the clan rules so thoroughly. Mo Yan suppressed her anger, a cold smile on her face. Unfortunately, relying on clan rules can only prolong this temporarily. You can't stay in the dormitory forever. I'd like to see how long you can hide. Fang Yuan burst into laughter, looking at Mo Yan disdainfully. I'd rather see how long you can block my door. Ah, it's already dark. People have beds to sleep in. But you, if I'm not in class tomorrow, and the elders investigate, what do you think I'll say? You, Mo Yan's face turned purple with rage. Pointing her finger at Fang Yuan, she exclaimed, do you really think I wouldn't dare come in and catch you? A playful smile played on his lips, his eyes as deep as a pool, his voice filled with a kind of confidence as if he had the situation under control. He said to Mo Yan, both provocatively and calmly, then go ahead and do it. Ha ha, Mo Yan suddenly regained her composure. Fang Yuan shrugged. He had long seen through Mo Yan's nature. If he closed the door, or half-closed it, Mo Yan would have at least a 50% chance of barging in. But if he deliberately left the door wide open, Mo Yan would become more alert and even more apprehensive, making the chances of her breaking in extremely small. 500 years of experience had long since taught him the weaknesses in human nature. He brazenly turned around, exposing his back to Mo Yan. If Mo Yan were to grab him at this moment, it would be incredibly easy. Yet, Mo Yan stood outside the door, motionless, as if an invisible mountain stood in front of her. Even when Fang Yuan sat cross-legged on the bed, Mo Yan still only glared angrily, gnashing her teeth, but never making a move. This is the pathetic aspect of human nature. Fang Yuan sat cross-legged, gazing at Mo Yan standing dazed outside the door, inwardly sighing. Sometimes, what hinders a person's actions isn't the actual difficulty, but the shackles in their soul. In terms of cultivation, Fang Yuan was no match for Mo Yan. Yet, despite her second-stage cultivation, she could only watch helplessly, not daring to make a move. She was only a few steps away from Fang Yuan, the door wide open, offering no obstacles. What truly bound her was herself. Humans use countless methods to understand the world, to understand the rules, precisely to exploit those rules. If one is bound by those rules, constrained by their own knowledge, that is the true tragedy. Fang Yuan looked at Mo Yan one last time, then slowly closed his eyes, letting his spirit sink into his primordial sea. This Fang Yuan actually dared to cultivate right in front of me. He truly doesn't take me seriously at all. Seeing this, Mo Yan was so angry she felt like spitting blood. She hated that she couldn't just barge in and punch Fang Yuan. But she knew she couldn't. Mo Yan suddenly felt a little regretful. She stood outside the door, embarrassed as if she had to continue. She was unwilling to stop like this. But she had already lost face. She had made a fuss, wanting to teach Fang Yuan a lesson. But instead she had made a fool of herself. Especially with a servant watching her. Damn it, this rotten little brat Fang Yuan is so unreasonable. A cunning scoundrel, Mo Yan thought angrily, and began cursing outside the door, trying to provoke Fang Yuan to come out. Fang Yuan, you bastard, if you have the guts, come out here. Fang Yuan, you're a man, you should be responsible for your actions. Now you're acting like a coward. It's despicable. Don't pretend with me. If you know what's good for you, get out here. You little rat. You useless wretch. Fang Yuan acted as if he were deaf and blind, completely ignoring her. Mo Yan's scolding, Far from the usual cheerful satisfaction she felt when scolding someone, only intensified her frustration. She felt increasingly like a clown, or a shrewish woman. Blocking the door was truly humiliating. I'm so angry. Mo Yan, driven mad, finally gave up on the provocation. Fang Yuan, you may escape on the first day, but you won't escape on the 15th. She stomped her foot angrily, unwilling to give up. Before leaving, she issued another command. Gao Wan, you stand here and keep an eye on him. I don't believe he won't come out. Your servant obeys. The burly servant Gao Wan hastily replied, seeing Mo Yan off, but inwardly, he groaned, lamenting the damp and cold night air on this mountain. Having to guard him all night would surely bring him a cold. This was indeed a grueling task. A roaring, rumbling sound. In the primordial sea, waves rose and fell, surging and disappearing. Bronze-colored true essence gathered, forming tidal waves. Under Fang Yuan's control, endless waves continuously washed over the surrounding aperture walls. The aperture walls of a first-stage Gu Master were all white light membranes. At this moment, the bronze-colored true essence struck them, causing the light membranes to flash brilliantly, producing indescribable, wondrous sounds. Time passed minute by minute, and the surface of the primordial sea slowly lowered from its initial 4/4 to 1/4. Gu Masters who want to advance their realm must constantly consume true essence to nourish their apertures. The aperture walls of a first-stage Gu Master are light membranes. A middle stage is a water membrane, and a high stage is a stone membrane. If I want to advance from the first stage to the middle stage, I must nourish the aperture walls from light membranes to water membranes. The memories of his past 500 years made Fang Yuan know this period of cultivation like the back of his hand. He slowly opened his eyes. It was already late at night. A crescent moon hung high in the night sky, casting a pure, watery light. The door was wide open, and the moonlight streamed in, making Fang Yuan think of a famous poem from Earth. The bright moonlight before the bed seems like frost on the ground. The bright moonlight before the bed seems like frost on the ground. Quiet night thoughts. Li Bai. A gentle night breeze blew, bringing with it a chill. Fang Yuan didn't have any goo worms to keep him warm, and even the 15-year-old boy couldn't help but shiver slightly. The night in the mountains was still too cold. You stinking brat. You finally opened your eyes. How long do you intend to cultivate? Come out here. Whether you stick your head out or cower, it's still a blow. You attacked our young master Mo Bei, so it's only a matter of time before our young mistress teaches you a lesson. Seeing Fang Yuan finally showing some movement, Gao Wan, who had been standing at the door, immediately perked up. Fang Yuan narrowed his eyes. Judging from the situation, had that second-rank female Gu Master already left? You stinking brat. Did you hear me? Get out here immediately. You have a room, a bed to sleep in, while I have to stand outside in the courtyard. If you don't come out, do you believe I'll break in? Seeing Fang Yuan's lack of reaction, Gao Wan threatened. Fang Yuan remained indifferent. You damned bastard. Come out here and surrender. You've offended our Mo family, and from now on, you'll have no good days. Quickly kowtow and apologize to our young mistress, and you might be forgiven. Gao Wan continued to curse. Fang Yuan acted as if he hadn't heard. He calmly took out a piece of raw stone from his money pouch, clenched it in his palm, and slowly closed his eyes. Seeing Fang Yuan intending to continue cultivating, Gao Wan became impatient and shouted angrily, "You only have a B-grade aptitude. At most you'll only be a second-rank Gu Master. What good will your cultivation do? Do you think you can stand against our Mo family alone? Kid, are you deaf? Did you hear what I said?" Chapter 34. I'll pin you down and beat you. Fang Yuan ignored it, simultaneously focusing on two things. He was absorbing the natural essence from the essence stone while monitoring his aperture. As the natural essence continuously poured in, The sea level in his aperture, which had been dropping, began to slowly rise again. The rate of increase was rather slow, but Fang Yuan wasn't impatient. Cultivation is about accumulation. You can't rush it. The one who was truly impatient was the middle-aged servant outside the room. After about half an hour, Fang Yuan's bronze essence C reached its limit of 40% again. But that wasn't the end. The essence C was now green, the bronze essence of a first-stage early-level cultivator. The essence Fang Yuan had previously used to nourish his aperture wasn't early-stage essence, but mid-stage essence after being refined by the wineworm. Wineworm, Fang Yuan thought, and the wineworm in the sea immediately flew up, hovering in midair, shrinking into a white dumpling. Rustling. A portion of the initial stage true essence was mobilized and entered the wineworm's body, quickly being completely absorbed. Then, a pure and fragrant wine mist emanated from the wineworm, condensing around it. Fang Yuan mobilized another portion of true essence and infused it into the mist. After the mist completely dissipated, the volume of the initial portion of initial stage true essence suddenly shrank by half, and its color changed from green to azure. That was intermediate stage true essence. Ordinary cultivators who want to improve their cultivation usually use initial stage first turn true essence. But I use intermediate stage true essence, at least twice as efficient as them. Moreover, the Moonblade unleashed by using intermediate stage true essence to urge the Moonlight Goo is also stronger than initial stage true essence. Only when his entire essence C was refined into intermediate stage first turn true essence did Fang Yuan open his eyes. Time flies. It was now early morning. The sky was no longer pitch black, but a somber, dark blue. The moon had vanished, leaving only a few stars. The main door had been wide open all night, the bottom of the door damp and blackened as if water had pooled there. The school dormitory also had its drawbacks. It wasn't as comfortable as the raised floor bamboo building, being built directly on the ground and therefore more humid. Adjusting his mind, Fang Yuan also felt the chill enveloping his body, and having sat cross-legged for so long, his legs were slightly numb. He opened his right hand, which had been closed, and a pile of grayish-white powder immediately fell to the ground. These are the remnants of the natural essence within the primordial stones after they were completely absorbed. Cultivating all night, I've consumed 3 primordial stones. Fang Yuan silently calculated. He only possessed a B-grade aptitude, but to pursue rapid cultivation, he had to constantly use primordial stones to replenish his true essence. More importantly, he also used the wineworm to refine mid-grade true essence. This consumed even more primordial stones. Although I just plundered a considerable amount yesterday, I still consumed 3 primordial stones in one night. At this rate, while it seems like a lot of primordial stones, they can't withstand prolonged consumption. But pursuing speed and efficiency in cultivation naturally comes at a great cost. Fang Yuan glanced out the door again. He saw the strong servant named Gao Wan squatting in the corner, curled up as if asleep. It seems that second-rank female Gu master left early, leaving only Gao Wan to guard me here. Ha ha, Fang Yuan smirked. He got out of bed and quietly began to warm up his martial arts. As his body gradually warmed up, he walked out of the dormitory. Kid, you finally decided to come out. How about it? Obediently surrender and follow me to Kowtow and apologize to my young mistress. Cao Wan's ears twitched. Upon hearing Fang Yuan's footsteps, he sprang to his feet. He was tall and burly, almost twice Fang Yuan's size. His muscles bulged, and beneath his high, sharp eyebrows were a pair of narrow eyes that flashed with cruel malice. Looking like a hungry hyena, Fang Yuan showed no expression on his face and continued walking towards him. Kid, it would have been fine if you had shown up a little earlier. Now that you've come out, do you know how much suffering I've endured guarding you? The man chuckled menacingly as he advanced towards Fang Yuan, his expression hostile. Just then, Fang Yuan suddenly let out a low shout, leaping up and raising both fists to attack Cao Wan. "You wretched brat! You don't know your place!" Cao Wan's face contorted ferociously as he angrily swung his fists at Fang Yuan. The punch was incredibly powerful, tearing through the air with a whistling sound. Fang Yuan's eyes were cold. Seeing the incoming punch, he stomped his foot and instantly moved to Cao Wan's side. He extended his finger and poked Cao Wan in the side. Cao Wan's arm recoiled to block, but Fang Yuan missed his hip. Striking only his arm, he felt as if his finger had struck a sheet of iron. Both painful and numb. This Gao On has reached the pinnacle of mortal martial arts. Currently, I only have the Moonlight Goo to fight with, without other goo worms to assist me. Relying solely on my fists and feet, I'm no match for him. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed, and he wisely stopped his attack, retreating a few steps to widen the distance. In the Gu Yue mountain stronghold, only those with the Gu Yue surname are qualified to cultivate Gu masters. Those with other surnames, regardless of their cultivation aptitude, are not qualified to participate in the aperture opening ceremony. Yet these mortals can cultivate martial arts. Like Gao On before him, although he is not a Gu master, he must have diligently practiced martial arts, and his basic skills are relatively solid. He is also a middle-aged man, at the peak of his life as a mortal. Aside from the Moonlight Goo he can use for combat, Fang Yuan is only a 15-year-old boy. Whether it was strength, agility, or endurance, he was no match for Cao Wan. A martial artist like Cao Wan was capable of killing a first-stage Gu master. Even a mid-stage Gu master could pose a significant threat. This kid is too ruthless. Seeing Fang Yuan widen the distance between them, Cao Wan was still terrified. The waist is a vital part of the human body. Being stabbed forcefully there would cause serious injury. If the stab was too strong, it could even be fatal. Cao Wan had waited outside the courtyard for more than half the night. His body in the cold, damp wind, his reactions somewhat sluggish. He had almost been stabbed by Fang Yuan in that last attack. Fortunately, although he was usually obsequious, he also trained diligently. At the crucial moment, his physical instincts were faster than his mental reactions, and he risked everything to withstand Fang Yuan's attack. I can't be careless anymore. This kid is a wolf in sheep's clothing, both vicious and insidious. I can't afford to be careless. No wonder the young master was knocked unconscious twice by him. Cao Wan wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Discarding his previous contempt, he now fully respected Fang Yuan. Capturing this kid will earn me great merit. At that time, the young lady will definitely reward me. A first-stage moonblade can only inflict damage similar to a slash, as long as it doesn't hit a vital organ. It will only cause minor superficial injuries. Thinking this, Cao Wan became anxious, extending his arms like iron clamps to grab Fang Yuan. Thump, thump, thump. Fang Yuan showed no fear, charging forward to meet Cao Wan, engaging in close-range combat. For a moment, punches and kicks clashed, the dull thuds of the blows echoing incessantly. When robbing the students, he only used his bare hands, focusing on controlling the fight. Now, fighting Cao Wan, he wouldn't hold back. Sometimes, he'd gouge out eyes with his fingers, stab Cao Wan's throat. Sometimes he'd strike his chin with his hand, slash at the back of his neck. Sometimes he'd knee him in the groin, and sometimes he'd elbow him in the ribs. Cao Wan was drenched in cold sweat. Fang Yuan relentlessly attacked Cao Wan's weak points with every move, his methods both cruel and vicious, truly aiming for Cao Wan's death. Cao Wan was just a mortal, not a Gu master. Although he had diligently practiced martial arts, his weak points remained just as vulnerable. A mortal couldn't possibly turn their eyelids into steel. This was the limit of mortal martial arts. and Cao Wan didn't dare kill Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was a member of the Gu Yue clan. Killing Fang Yuan would enrage many people, and he would certainly be torn apart by 5 horses. By then, the Mo family would be the first to be purged. Therefore, his intention was to capture Fang Yuan alive, preferably to make him suffer during the capture process. One side harbored reservations, the other only wanted to kill. But unexpectedly, the situation now turned out to be Fang Yuan pinning Gao Wan down and beating her. Chapter 35 – You Call Out. Fang Yuan's brief advantage didn't last long. After a short exchange of blows, he was panting heavily. In contrast, Gao Wan's breathing remained steady, his breaths prolonged. There was a huge difference in physical strength between them. Moreover, Gao Wan had regained his stamina, his body gradually warming up, and his punches were becoming faster and faster. He gradually overcame his stiffness and sluggishness, beginning to display the strength he had honed over more than 10 years. Kid, you can't beat me. The clan rules stipulate that you cannot use the Moonlight Gu in this academy area. You're finished. Today you will definitely become my prisoner. Gao Wan laughed ferociously. His fighting experience was extensive, and he wanted to use words to break Fang Yuan's fighting spirit. I'm still a young man now. My body is not yet fully mature. My physical condition is not as good as this servant's. Fang Yuan's mood remained icy. After 500 years of refinement, how could his fighting spirit be shaken? Moonlight Gu, he suddenly thought of it. He urged his true essence and leaped back a step, widening the distance between himself and Cao Wan. Cao Wan wanted to pursue, but suddenly saw a blue light emanating from Fang Yuan's palm. His face immediately darkened, and he shouted, "Kid, you're using a Gu worm to fight in the academy. This is a violation of the clan rules." "So what if it's a violation of the clan rules?" Fang Yuan sneered. He had never studied or mastered the clan rules for the sake of compliance. Immediately, his hand struck the air in front of Cao Wan. A small swish sound rang out, and a pale blue moon blade shot straight towards Cao Wan's face. Cao Wan gritted his teeth, clasped his hands together, forming a shield with his arms. At the same time, he continuously charged towards Fang Yuan, wanting to confront him head-on and achieve a quick victory. The moonblade struck Cao On's arm with a loud thud, sending blood and flesh flying, and intense pain shot through Cao On's nerves. Caught off guard, the pain nearly caused him to faint. How could this happen? He paused his charge, terrified to find both his arms slashed open with deep gashes. Fresh blood gushed from the wounds, revealing the bloody, gooey flesh and even the broken, white arm bones. Cao On was utterly horrified. Impossible. A first-stage moonblade can only injure the skin and flesh at most. How could it cut through my bone? Only a first-stage mid-level Gu master could do this. Of course, he didn't know that although Fang Yuan was only a first-stage early-level Gu master, he had been refined by the wineworm. The crescent blade, unleashed under the impetus of mid-stage true essence, naturally possessed immense power, far surpassing that of a beginner. Damn it, this kid is strange. Cao Wan, caught off guard, was suddenly severely wounded. His fighting spirit completely crumbled, and he immediately wanted to retreat. You think you can escape? Fang Yuan sneered, pursuing him relentlessly, firing crescent blades from his hand. Help! Cao Wan shouted, fleeing frantically, his cries echoing throughout the deserted academy. What's happening? Someone's calling for help. The cries startled the nearby academy guards. It's a servant from the Mo family, left behind by Miss Mo Yan. The guards rushed over, stopping in their tracks at the sight of the chase. Quote, "He's just a servant, there's no need to protect him. Letting him stay is already showing respect to the Mo family. We still need to be careful, just in case he gets cornered and injures Fang Yuan." The guards rushed forward but didn't intervene, only watching. If this servant named Cao Wan died, it was none of their business. But if Fang Yuan died or was injured, It would be their responsibility. Seeing this, Cao Wan's heart turned cold. He cried out desperately, "We are all from different families. You can't just stand by and watch me die." He was losing more and more blood, and his speed was slowing down. Fang Yuan ran up from behind, his voice icy cold, pronouncing Cao Wan's death sentence. "Scream all you want. But it's useless to scream any louder." With that, his hand slashed out like a blade, 2 crescent moons flying out. With 2 swift movements, the crescent moons struck Cao Wan's neck. Cao Wan felt a chilling sensation, as if he had stumbled and fallen into a deep abyss. Immediately afterward, he suddenly felt as if the world had turned upside down. He could even see his legs, his chest, his back, and his severed neck. Then, he was enveloped in darkness. Cao Wan was dead. He had been beheaded by Fang Yuan's 2 crescent blades. His head flew off, and his body continued for another 10 meters before collapsing. Bright red blood gushed out like a fountain, staining the surrounding flowers and grass. Murder. Fang Yuan killed someone. The guards cried out in alarm. They had witnessed the entire process firsthand, and they were all trembling, utterly panicked and terrified. Fang Yuan was just a weak 15-year-old boy, yet he had killed a strong adult without batting an eyelid. This was the power of a Gu master. The battle was over. Fang Yuan slowed down, leisurely approaching. His expression was calm, as if he had just done something as trivial as eating and drinking. This only made the guards feel even more chilled to the bone. Cao On's head lay on the ground, his eyes wide open, dead with his gaze unclosed. Fang Yuan coldly raised a leg and kicked it away. The guard's eyelids twitched at the sight. Fang Yuan approached Cao On's corpse. He noticed that the body was still trembling, blood quickly flowing onto the ground, forming a small pool. He carefully examined Cao On's wounds, his expression grim. These wounds were deep, enough to expose his mid-level True Yuan. Once this secret was revealed, it would soon implicate the wineworm. Once the wineworm was exposed, the high-ranking members of the family would naturally associate it with the flower wine practitioner. Therefore, Fang Yuan had to protect this secret. But too many people saw it. Fang Yuan glanced at the guards standing nearby. There were more than 10 of them. Now he only had less than 1/10 of his True Yuan left. Unable to kill them all. After a moment of thought, Fang Yuan bent down, grabbed Cao Wan's ankle, and dragged the corpse back. "Young Master Fang Yuan, we can handle this," the guards said, suppressing their shudders. They stepped forward, respectfully addressing Fang Yuan, their reverence mixed with obvious fear. Fang Yuan glanced at them silently. The guards unconsciously held their breath and bowed their heads. "Give me my sword," he said coldly, extending his hand. His tone was commanding, carrying an undeniable authority. The guard closest to him instinctively drew the sword from his waist. Fang Yuan took the sword and continued walking, leaving the more than 10 guards standing there, staring after his retreating figure. The morning sun rose from the east, its first rays piercing through the mountainside into the academy. Fang Yuan was 15 years old, his figure thin and frail, his skin pale. In the dawn light, he walked at a steady pace. His left hand held a gleaming sword. His right hand dragged a headless corpse. Along his path, a trail of bright red blood stretched across the dark blue brick pavement. The guards behind him stared blankly, a chill running through them, their bodies stiff. The morning sun shone upon them, yet they felt no warmth or brightness. Gulp. Someone swallowed hard, their throat constricting. Chapter 36, The Gift of Dismemberment. "Have you heard? Fang Yuan killed someone," a student whispered to his desk mate. "I heard too. He really did kill someone." His desk mate clutched his chest, his face pale. Many guards saw Fang Yuan chasing after that person. The person begged for forgiveness, but Fang Yuan refused and beheaded him. "That's not all," After killing that person, Fang Yuan didn't even spare the headless corpse, dragging it back to the dormitory and chopping it into minced meat. Is that true or false? Quote, "It couldn't be more true. This morning when I arrived early, I saw bloodstains in the cracks of the bricks. Oh my God, why would I lie to you? The reason the academy elder summoned Fang Yuan just now was because of this." In the academy, the teenagers had no mind for the lecture. They were all whispering and gossiping amongst themselves. Killing someone, for these 15-year-olds, was still very unfamiliar and terrifying. From childhood to adulthood, they had lived under the protection of their families, at most only discussing martial arts and killing chickens and dogs. As for killing people, it was still unfamiliar to them. Who did Fang Yuan kill? I heard it was a servant of the Mo family. Hey, I know the most about that. Yesterday, I saw senior sister Mo Yan of the Mo family leading a group of servants to cause trouble with Fang Yuan. It's the Mo family, this is bad. Mo Bei is in trouble this time. Many young men looked towards Gu Yue Mo Bei. Mo Bei sat pale, having only just learned the news this morning. He never expected Fang Yuan to kill someone, and even kill Gao Wan, someone he knew well. Mo Bei knew Gao Wan very well. He was extremely active among the servants, skilled at flattery, and had diligently practiced martial arts, a truly capable hound. Not long ago, Gao Wan had even practiced martial arts with Mo Bei. He never imagined that he would be killed by Fang Yuan like this. That's why Mo Bei was even more terrified and disbelieving than the others. Besides being terrified, he was also extremely panicked. Facing a murderer like Fang Yuan, it would be a lie to say that 15-year-old Mo Bei wasn't afraid. In fact, he wasn't the only one afraid, the other teenagers were too. Fang Yuan had robbed them twice, and each of them had fought with him. I can't believe I've fought with such a brutal murderer, and I'm still alive. Many of them patted their chests, trembling with fear. Not only did Fang Yuan kill people, but he also dismembered them, chopping them into minced meat. This was truly too cruel. Such a horrific crime completely shocked the innocent minds of the teenagers. In the room, only the two elders of the academy and Fang Yuan were present. The elder sat, Fang Yuan stood. Neither spoke, the atmosphere stifling and oppressive. The elder silently observed Fang Yuan, a complex expression flashing in his eyes. Early that morning, a guard had reported to him about Fang Yuan's assault and murder. This news had startled and puzzled him. As a seasoned third-rank Gu master and in charge of this academy area, he naturally knew the combat power of a first-rank early-stage Gu master. Fang Yuan killing Gao Wan could be considered a case of the weak defeating the strong. In fact, yesterday evening, a guard had reported that Mo Yan had stormed into the academy and captured Fang Yuan. At that time, he hadn't paid attention or intervened. As an elder of the academy, his goal was to train future Gu masters, not protect them. At most, he only cared about whether any students were injured or not. Otherwise, he would have secretly encouraged the fight. When Mo Yan provoked Fang Yuan, the old man was visibly pleased. Firstly, he knew that winning or losing the battle would benefit Fang Yuan's growth. Secondly, he also wanted to suppress Fang Yuan's reputation. Fang Yuan had blocked the academy gates twice in a row, robbing all the students. His reputation was too prominent, and he needed to be restrained a bit. But he didn't expect Mo Yan to return empty-handed, leaving behind only his servant, Gao Wan, and Gao Wan couldn't defeat Fang Yuan and was killed by him. In this world, power is supreme. Killing is nothing unusual, especially for Gu masters. It's practically commonplace. However, for a 15-year-old boy, killing for the first time is not so simple. The academy elder still clearly remembers the circumstances of his first killing. At that time, he was already a second-rank Gu master, 19 years old, and killed a Gu master from the Bai family's stronghold during a conflict. After killing the man, the old man vomited violently and was extremely panicked. For several days afterward, he couldn't eat or drink properly, and every time he closed his eyes, he saw the man's furious, glaring eyes as he died. Now, judging Fang Yuan, his expression was as calm as ever. Where was the panic? He didn't seem unwell at all, as if he had simply slept soundly the night before, and the real killer wasn't him. Moreover, the academy elders had heard that after killing the servant, Fang Yuan didn't let up, dragging the corpse back to his dormitory and chopping it into pieces with his knife to vent his anger. Such cruel methods were terrifying to hear about. Therefore, the academy elders' gazes at Fang Yuan were filled with complex emotions. On one hand, the old man lamented Fang Yuan's coldness towards life, his temperament as icy as snow. On the other hand, he felt a slight fondness for him. Fang Yuan was a born fighting prodigy. He had only recently acquired the Moonlight Gu, yet he could already use it to kill. An ordinary youth, even a genius of the highest caliber, wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. This was true fighting talent. If trained to fight for the clan, he would be a nightmare for his enemies. The third aspect was worry and distress. He worried that after this incident, Fang Yuan's aura would only grow stronger, making him uncontrollable. Fang Yuan was too audacious, not only violating clan rules and using Gu worms in the academy, but also committing murder. He absolutely had to tarnish his reputation. Otherwise, how could he manage the academy? He was also distressed about how to deal with the aftermath of this, as it involved the Mo family. Fang Yuan, do you know why I summoned you here? The academy elder's deep voice broke the silence in the room. I know. Fang Yuan nodded. I used the Moonlight Gu in the academy, violating the clan rules. According to the regulations, for the first violation, I need to compensate 30 primeval stones. He avoided the issue, completely ignoring Cao Wan's death. The academy elder was stunned for a moment, not expecting Fang Yuan's reply. The elder's face darkened, and he snorted coldly. Don't try to play dumb in front of me. I ask you, what happened to Cao Wan's death? Fang Yuan narrowed his eyes. HMPH. This Cao Wan offended his superiors and plotted evil. Last night, he not only blocked my door but also tried to kill me. I was forced to use the Moonlight Gu in self-defense and luckily killed this thief. I suspect this person is very likely an informant for another mountain stronghold. Please, Elder, consider this. Upon hearing this, the academy elder frowned, unsure of what to say. Cao Wan was dead, and Fang Yuan could say whatever he wanted. After all, he was just a stranger, not a member of the clan. His death was nothing to worry about. However, he was concerned about the Mo family's reaction. Cao Wan was a servant of the Mo family, yet he died in the academy. As the academy's administrator, he felt he needed to explain the situation to the Mo family. After a moment's thought, the academy elder stared at Fang Yuan and questioned, "Then I ask you, how did you dispose of Cao Wan's body?" Fang Yuan smiled cruelly. "I dismembered Cao Wan, put his remains in a wooden box, and took it to the Mo family's back gate at dawn." What? The academy elder jumped in surprise, nearly leaping from his seat. Not only did Fang Yuan kill someone's servant, but he also dismembered the body and brought it to the back door of the Mo family. This was blatant provocation. For the academy's elders, who had always wanted to quell this matter, this was absolutely terrible news. Fang Yuan was just a minor first-rank Gu master. What kind of reaction would the enormous Mo family have? Thinking about this, the academy's elders felt a headache coming on. This matter was beyond their control. This Fang Yuan was truly a jinx. Oh, since it's already happened, there's no point in talking more. You go down first. The punishment will come in a few days. So prepare yourself mentally. The elder was extremely annoyed, waving his hand to dismiss Fang Yuan, needing some quiet time to consider countermeasures. Chapter 37. Both Compromise and Threat. At this moment, in the Mo family. What did I tell you? Look at the mess you've made. In the study, Gu Yue Mo Chen slammed the table. Furious. Mo Yan stood opposite him. Head bowed, her eyes filled with both shock and resentment. She never expected that 15-year-old boy to possess such cunning and ruthlessness. Gao Wan, a servant of the Mo family, was killed by Fang Yuan. He truly showed no respect for the Mo family. Grandfather, you don't need to get so angry. Gao Wan was just a servant. His death is nothing to worry about. After all, he doesn't bear the Gu Yue surname. But this Fang Yuan is truly audacious. Even when beating a dog, one should consider the owner's feelings. He not only beat our Mo family's dog but also killed it. Mo Yan said angrily and indignantly. Gu Yue Mo Chen roared. You still dare to speak without shame? You've grown all your wings and don't care about my words anymore. Do you? How many times have I reminded you? Have you forgotten everything? Quote. Your granddaughter wouldn't dare. Mo Yan was terrified, only now realizing her grandfather was truly angry, and quickly knelt down. Gu Yue Mo Chen pointed out the window and scolded. HMPH. That servant is dead. So be it. But even now you're still fixated on Fang Yuan. How narrow-minded and ignorant. Do you know what you're doing? Juniors fighting is their business. We elders shouldn't interfere. That's the rule. Now you're picking a fight with Fang Yuan. That's breaking the rule. Right now, out there, who knows how many people are coldly watching the Mo family's humiliation. Grandfather, please calm down. Anger harms the body. It's Mo Yan's fault for implicating the Mo family. Whatever you want Mo Yan to do, grandfather, Mo Yan will do, but I really can't swallow this anger. This Fang Yuan is truly too unpleasant. Too shameless. At first, he tricked me into going to school. Then he hid in the dormitory, refusing to come out no matter how much I cursed him. As soon as I left, he killed Gao Wan. He's truly incredibly vicious and brazen. Mo Yan reported. So? Is that so? Gu Yue Mo Chen frowned. This was the first time he'd heard this, and a glint flashed in his eyes. He took a deep breath, suppressing his anger, and stroked his beard thoughtfully. I've also heard of Fang Yuan. He knew how to write poetry when he was young, and was quite intelligent, but I didn't expect his talent to be only of the B grade. Not worth much, so I didn't recruit him. But now it seems that's not entirely true. Pausing for a moment, Gu Yue Mo Chen tapped his fingers on the table. Bring that box in. Of course, there were servants outside, and soon after, a box was brought in. The box was neither large nor small, but it seemed rather heavy. Grandpa, what is this? Mo Yan looked at the wooden box and asked suspiciously. Why don't you open it and take a look? Gu Yue Mo Chen narrowed his eyes, his tone somewhat complicated. Mo Yan stood up and opened the wooden lid to look inside. Suddenly, her face instantly changed color, her pupils constricting. She couldn't help but jump back, screaming in horror, and the wooden lid slipped from her hand and fell to the ground. Without the lid, what was inside was immediately revealed to everyone. Unexpectedly, it was a pile of blood and flesh. This pile of blood and flesh had clearly been cut into pieces and dumped into the box. Fresh blood mixed with pale skin and flesh. Long, thin sections of intestine, and even one or two pieces of bone, either thigh bone or rib bone. In the pool of blood in the corner of the box, 2 fingertips and half a toe floated. Ugh! Mo Yan's face turned pale, and she took another long step back, her stomach churning, almost vomiting on the spot. Although she was a second-rank Gu master with considerable experience and had killed people before, this was the first time she had seen such a disgusting and perverse sight. The meat in this box was clearly the flesh of a dismembered human body stuffed inside. A pungent smell of blood immediately permeated the entire study. The servant carrying the box trembled, his face ashen, although he had seen this box before and vomited. Holding it now still filled him with fear and disgust. Of the 3 People in the study. Only the elder Gu Yue Mo Chen showed no reaction. He calmly looked at the box of blood and meat, and slowly said to Mo Yan, "This box was placed at the back door of my house by Fang Yuan this morning." What? It really was him? Mo Yan was utterly terrified. The image of Fang Yuan flashing through her mind. The first time she'd seen Fang Yuan was at the hotel. He was sitting by the window, quietly eating. He had an ordinary face, deep black eyes, a thin body, and a pale complexion typical of a teenager. He was clearly a quiet, normal teenager, yet he had committed such a crazy, perverse act. After the initial shock came rage. Mo Yan shouted, "This Fang Yuan is too audacious. He has the guts of a tiger and the courage of a bear. He dared to do this. This is a provocation against our Mo family. I will immediately arrest him and bring him here to be punished." Having said that, she wanted to leave. "You wretched fool, stop right there." Gu Yue Mo Chen was furious. He grabbed an inkstone from the desk and threw it. The hard, heavy inkstone struck Mo Yan's shoulder with a thud and fell to the ground. "Grandfather." Mak Enan covered her shoulder and let out a cry. Gu Yue Mo Chen stood up, pointing at his granddaughter, his voice filled with agitation. "It seems you've been training for nothing these past few years. Truly disappointing me. Not only did you make a fuss over a mere first-stage Gu master, but you were also led astray by the other party. Now you're so angry you've lost your mind. Don't you understand the meaning behind Fang Yuan's actions?" Meaning? Mo Yan didn't understand at all. Gu Yue Mo Chen snorted. If Fang Yuan really wanted to provoke and make a big deal out of it, why didn't he place this box at the main entrance where people come and go, but instead at the less frequented back entrance? Could it be that he wanted to reconcile? No. If it were reconciliation, wouldn't it be better to confess his guilt in person? Why would he bring this box of dismembered corpses? This is pure provocation, Mo Yan said. Gu Yue Mo Chen shook his head, then nodded again. He wants reconciliation, but it's also a provocation. He placed the wooden box at the back gate as a sign of reconciliation. But the mutilated corpse inside is a provocation. Quote, "Look," he pointed to the box. "This wooden box isn't big enough to hold a complete corpse. So inside is only a dismembered part of the body. He wants to tell us he doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. That he wants to settle things amicably. However, if our Mo family still insists on holding on, he'll throw the rest of the body through the main gate and make a big fuss to the very end. At that point, both sides will suffer. The whole clan will know that our Mo family broke the rules first, and that the future leader of the Mo family is so weak that he needs the elders' pampering and protection." Mo Yan was stunned by these words. She had never imagined that Fang Yuan's actions had such profound implications. "This tactic is truly ingenious," Gu Yue Mo Chen said wistfully. "This action alone shows both firmness and flexibility, both advance and retreat. This extremely simple wooden box clearly demonstrates Fang Yuan's willingness to compromise, and also his threat to the Mo family. If we persist, we will truly be under his control. If the Mo family's honor is damaged, we will then face difficulties from the Qi family and attacks from the clan leader's faction." Mo Yan said incredulously, "Grandfather, aren't you overestimating him? He's only 15 years old." "Praise?" Mo Chen glared at his granddaughter. "For years you've been so used to things going your way that you've become arrogant and can't see reality." First, Fang Yuan remained calm in the face of danger, tricking you into entering the academy. Then, he cleverly avoided disaster in the dormitory. Next, he endured your insults without resorting to violence. That shows his patience and composure. After you left, he immediately killed Gao Wan. That shows his unwavering courage. Now he's brought this chest. Clearly, he's both intelligent and cunning. Do you think I'm praising him or not?" Mo Yan was speechless, not expecting her grandfather to praise Fang Yuan so much. She immediately retorted resentfully, "Grandpa, he only has B-grade talent." Gu Yue Mo Chen stroked his beard and sighed. "That's right, He only has a B-grade aptitude. He possesses such a sharp mind. Yet he's only a B-grade. It's truly a pity. If his aptitude were a little higher, like a B-grade, he would surely be a powerful figure in the Gu Yue tribe. It's a shame he's only a B-grade. He sighed, full of emotion, a mixture of regret and good fortune. Mo Yan remained silent, the image of Fang Yuan flashing through her mind once again. Under the influence of psychological manipulation, Fang Yuan's previously gentle and weak face was now shrouded in a mysterious and dangerous darkness. This matter was caused by you alone. How do you think it should be handled? Gu Yue Mo Chen suddenly broke the silence, beginning to scrutinize Mo Yan. After a moment of contemplation, Mo Yan coldly said, Cao Wan is a slave. His death is the end of it. Fang Yuan is merely a low-ranking official, a minor matter. The important thing is to uphold the honor of our Mo family. To settle this matter, we can kill Cao Wan's entire family, demonstrating to the clan that we still uphold the rules. Yes, you understand the essentials, temporarily setting aside personal feelings to protect the family's interests, which is very good. However, this method of handling the situation is still flawed, Gu Yue Mo Chen criticized, stroking his beard. Please enlighten me, grandfather. Mo Yan bowed. Gu Yue Mo Chen said thoughtfully, this matter is your fault. Your grandfather is punishing you with 7 days of confinement. From now on, don't cause trouble with Fang Yuan again. Gao Wan insulted his superior. A servant daring to offend his master deserves death. This crime must be punished by beheading. Because he is a servant of the Mo family. The Mo family also bears responsibility for not properly disciplining him. He must compensate Fang Yuan with 30 spirit stones. As for Gao Wan's family, give them 50 spirit stones as compensation, and then expel them from the mansion. He paused for a moment, then added, for the next 7 days, you'd best stay home and rest. Don't go out. Also, think carefully about why your grandfather is handling things this way. Yes, sir, Grandpa. Chapter 38. The Demon Lord walks in the light. Dark clouds hung low in the sky, and spring rain fell incessantly on the ground. Fine drizzle, like buffalo hair, gently fell, enveloping the entire Qingmao mountain in a hazy mist. The first floor of the hotel remained deserted, with only 4 tables occupied. Fang Yuan sat by the window, a gentle breeze carrying poetic thoughts and the scent of flowers. The road is covered in light rain like oil paint. Near the empty space, far away, the green grass is spread out. Fang Yuan looked out the window, softly humming a line before stopping his gaze. On the table before him were wine and food, all with color, aroma, and taste, especially the Qingzhou wine, its fragrance pure and refreshing. The green wine lay quietly in the bamboo cup. From this angle, it shimmered like amber. At the table closest to him sat 2 old men, a grandfather and grandson, dressed in simple clothes, both ordinary people. The old man sipped his rice wine and looked admiringly at Fang Yuan. It was obvious the old man was tempted by the aroma of the bamboo wine but didn't have the money to buy it. His grandson was eating braised fragrant beans, chewing noisily in his mouth. He was nagging his grandfather while eating, shaking his arm. Grandpa, tell me some stories about the ancestor of humanity. If you don't tell me, when we get back I'll tell Grandma that you went out to drink wine secretly. Oh dear, even drinking wine isn't peaceful. The old man sighed, his face filled with affection. He used his thin, stick-like hand to stroke his grandson's head. Then I'll tell you a little. The story goes that the ancestor of humanity gave his heart to the ancient hope, escaping from the clutches of the calamity. The story of the ancestor of humanity is the most widely circulated and oldest legend in this world. The story he was telling was probably something like that. It said that the ancestor of humanity escaped the calamity thanks to hope. But in the end, he grew old and weak. Without strength and intelligence, he could no longer hunt. Even his teeth had fallen out. making it impossible to chew many kinds of wild fruits. The ancestor sensed death slowly approaching. At this moment, the ancient hope told him, "Human, you cannot die. If you die, your heart will be gone. And I hope, will lose my home." The ancestor resigned himself. Who wants to die? But heaven and earth want me to die. So I must die. The ancient hope said, "There is hope in everything. If you can capture the ancient longevity, you can increase your lifespan." The ancestor had long heard of the ancient longevity, but he gave up. When the ancient longevity stands still, no one can detect it. When it flies, it's faster than light. How can I possibly catch it? This is too difficult. The ancient hope then revealed a secret to the human ancestor. Human, never give up hope in anything. I tell you, in the northwestern region there is a great mountain. On the summit of the mountain is a cave. And inside the cave are two ancient insects, one round and one square. As long as you can subdue these two insects, there is no ancient insect in the world that you cannot capture. Even the longevity ancient insect is no exception. The human ancestor was at his wit's end. This was his only hope. He exerted all his strength, enduring countless hardships to find the great mountain. He disregarded all danger to climb to the summit, reaching the cave entrance at the summit. With his last ounce of strength, he hobbled inside. The cave was completely dark. He couldn't see his hand in front of his face. The human ancestor walked step by step in the darkness. Sometimes he would stumble upon something, causing his head to bleed. At other times, he felt this darkness was boundless, as if it were another world, where nothing existed except him. He wasted a great deal of time trying to traverse this vast expanse of shadows, let alone subdue the two ancient insects, one round and one square. Just as he was falling into a daze, two voices echoed from the darkness. One voice said, "Human, do you also want to capture us? Go back. Even with the ancient power within you, you can't succeed." Another voice said, "Human, retreat. We won't take your life. Even with the ancient wisdom, you may not be able to capture us." The ancestor weakly fell to the ground, gasping for breath. "The ancient power and ancient wisdom have long since left me. My lifespan is also running out. I've reached the end of my rope. But as long as there is still a glimmer of hope in my heart, I will not give up." Hearing the ancestor's words, both voices fell silent. After a long while, they finally spoke. "We understand. Human, you have given your heart to the ancient hope. Therefore, no matter what, you will not give up." Another voice continued, "Since that is the case, we will give you a chance. As long as you can say our names, we will let you use them." The ancestor was stunned. Trying to accurately name the two ancient creatures from the void was like searching for a needle in a haystack. Moreover, he didn't even know how many letters were in their names. The ancestor hurriedly asked the ancient hope, but the ancient hope didn't know either. The ancestor had no other choice. He could only patiently call out each name one by one. He called out many names, wasting a great deal of time, but still received no reply from the darkness. Clearly, he had called them all wrong. Gradually, the ancestor's breath grew weaker and weaker. In this mountain cave, he transitioned from old age to twilight. Like the setting sun, he slowly sank into the horizon, becoming a silent fading light. The food he carried dwindled. His mind became sluggish, and his strength to speak diminished. A voice in the darkness pleaded, "Human, you are about to die. We will let you go. While you still have time, you can climb out of the cave and gaze upon this world one last time. However, since you have offended us, you must leave the ancient hope here to keep us company as punishment." The ancestor hastily clutched his chest, resolutely refusing. "Even if I die, I will not abandon hope." The ancient hope was deeply moved and responded to the ancestor with all its might. It emitted a pure light, radiating into white points of light on the ancestor's chest. But this light was too weak, completely incapable of illuminating the darkness. It didn't even illuminate the entire body of the ancestor. only the front of his chest. The ancestor felt an invisible force from the ancient hope flowing into his body. He continued to recite the names. He was a senile old man. Many names he had recited before were no longer clear to him. And repeating them again wasted a great deal of effort. His life was slipping away with time. The ancestor's lifespan was dwindling. Finally, when he had only 1 day left, he uttered the word, root. In the darkness, a sigh echoed, and a voice said, "Human, I admire your perseverance. You have revealed my name. From today onward, I will obey your commands. However, only when I am with my brothers can I capture all the ancient insects in the world for you. Otherwise, I cannot do it alone. So, give up, you are near death. Why not gaze upon this world one last time?" The ancestor shook his head resolutely. He used every moment, speaking and speaking, trying to guess the name of the remaining ancient insect. Time ticked by, and he had only 1 hour left. But at that moment, he inadvertently uttered the word turtle. Immediately, the darkness vanished. 2 ancient insects appeared before him, just as Hope had said. One with a square neck was Cu, and the other with a round neck was Kwai. Combined, they formed Kwai Cu. The 2 ancient creatures simultaneously opened their mouths. "No matter who it is. As long as they know our names, we will obey their commands. Human, since you know our names, we will let you use us. However, you must remember, it's best not to let other beings know our names. The more people who know our names, the more we must subdue them. Now you are the first to subdue us. So state your demands." The ancestor rejoiced. "Then I will order you to first capture an 80-year-old ancient creature for me." The 2 ancient creatures joined forces to capture an 80-year-old ancient creature. The ancestor was 100 years old. But after eating this ancient creature, all the wrinkles on his face disappeared. His thin limbs gained strong muscles. And his youthful breath returned once again. He leaped up like a carp, his body arching. He happily looked at his body, knowing he had returned to his youth once more. That's all for today. Let's go home, you mischievous grandson." The old man finished telling the story, and the wine was gone. "Grandpa, tell me more. What happened to the human ancestor later?" The grandson refused, shaking the old man's arm. "Let's go, we'll tell you more when we have time." The old man put on his hat and raincoat, then draped a similar but smaller set over his grandson. The 2 of them left the hotel, walked into the rain, and gradually moved further and further away. Rules. Fang Yuan's eyes were distant. He twirled the wine cup, gazing at the green bamboo wine inside. His mood slightly emotional. The legend of the human ancestor is widely circulated in this world. Almost everyone knows it. Fang Yuan had certainly heard of it. But whether it's a legend or an old story, it's all a matter of perspective, too. The 2 of them just treated it as a story. But Fang Yuan could perceive the profound meaning hidden within. Like that human ancestor. When he didn't know the rules, he had to grope in the darkness. Sometimes he stumbled and fell, injuring himself, utterly miserable. Sometimes he got lost in the vastness, bewildered, not knowing where to go, without direction or goal. This darkness wasn't simply black or dark. Strength, intelligence, or hope couldn't overcome it. Only when the ancestor knew the rules and spoke the name of the rules did the darkness disappear, and the ancestor welcomed the light. The darkness was darkness from the rules, and the light was also light from the rules. Fang Yuan shifted his gaze from the wine cup and looked out the window. In the distance, the sky was gloomy and dark. The mountains were verdant and endless, and a light drizzle fell like mist. Closer to home, bamboo pavilions stretched endlessly. On the path, 2 or 3 people walked, their feet muddy from the rain, either wearing gray-blue raincoats or sheltering under oil grease-covered canvas umbrellas. Fang Yuan summarized in his heart, "This world is like a grand chessboard. All living things are pieces. operating according to their own rules. The 4 seasons have their own rules. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter cyclical in order. Water flows according to its course, rising to lower levels. Hot air rises according to its course. Humans, of course, also have their own rules. Everyone has their own stance, desires, and principles. For example, in the ancient Moon Mountain village, servants have a lowly fate, while sorcerers have a noble one. This is the established order. Therefore, Shen Kui wanted to climb the social ladder, using every means to escape servitude, while Gao Wan used every trick to curry favor with her master, like a dog relying on its master's power. As for the maternal uncle and aunt, those actions reflect their greedy nature, wanting to seize their parents' inheritance. The Elders Academy primarily trains sorcerers, protecting their own position within the academy. Everyone has their own rules. Every profession has its own rules. Every social group has its own rules. Understanding these rules allows one to remain clear-headed. Through the darkness comes the light. Becoming familiar with these things will make everything easier. Fang Yuan then reflected on his own situation, and a plan had already formed in his mind, for someone in power like Gu Yue Mo Chen of the Mo family. The rules are meant to preserve the prosperity and interests of the clan. Mo Yan causing me trouble is breaking those rules. To protect the family's honor, he will certainly not lay a hand on me, and may even proactively compensate me. Actually, the Mo family's power is immense. Even if they disregarded the damage to their reputation and were determined to punish me, I couldn't resist. However, Gu Yue Mo Chen was afraid. It wasn't that he feared breaking the rules, but rather that he worried others would start breaking them as well. If elders interfered in the struggles of juniors, the situation would escalate, and when it reached the higher levels, it would pose a huge threat to the mountain stronghold. Gu Yue Mo Chen feared that in future conflicts, others would target his grandson, Gu Yue Mo Bei. His clan only had one grandson. What would happen if he died? This fear, he probably didn't even realize it himself. He was simply unconsciously protecting the rules. Fang Yuan was completely clear-headed. He saw the whole thing from beginning to end. Gao Wan, if not a Gu Yue, was just an outsider, a servant. A master executing a servant wasn't a serious matter. That's perfectly normal in this world. Fang Yuan killed Cao Wan. Cao Wan's death wasn't important. What mattered was his master, the Mo family behind him. But this time, I'll offer a box of chopped-up corpses. Gu Yue Mo Chen will surely understand the threat and compromise. That's exactly what I want him to understand. Unless something unexpected happens, the Mo family won't pursue Cao Wan's death. Of course, if my talent is one level higher than the B class, the Mo family will feel threatened. Even if it means losing face, they will still suppress a future threat like me. Fang Yuan chuckled sarcastically to himself. The strong can be relied upon, and the weak can also be exploited. Although Fang Yuan was currently a pawn, he was well versed in the rules and possessed the mindset of a chess player. Most ordinary figures were just like Gu Yue Mo Chen or the Academy elders. They only knew their own rules and knew nothing about other aspects. If one could see the bigger picture like Fang Yuan, and be proficient in the rules, how could they find it difficult? Not knowing the rules is like the human ancestor, groping in the dark, lost for a while. At that point, strength, intelligence, and hope are useless. One must spend time, self-awareness, and experience to gain knowledge. The human ancestor was able to guess the names of the two Gu because he spent a great deal of time under the pressure of death, trying countless times. Fang Yuan's mastery of the rules stems from his 500 years of accumulated experience in his previous life. Since his rebirth, he is confident that he can create a glorious future. This isn't because the spring and autumn cicada reappeared, nor because he knows many secret realms and treasures, nor because he grasps the fundamental direction of the future. Rather, it's because of his 500 years of life experience and interpersonal skills from his previous life. Just like the human ancestor, possessing the two-rule Gu could easily capture all kinds of Gu in the world. But Fang Yuan is proficient in rules and regulations. He can look down from above, seeing clearly the myriad affairs of the world, either unraveling the silkworm cocoon or drawing blood with a single needle. 3. I myself am arrogant from above, coldly looking at the people of the world as chess pieces, following my own rules, advancing step by step. Darkness is the darkness of rules. Light is the light of rules. But the resurrected demon has walked in the light. Chapter 39, The Toad Trafficking Team. May is the transition between spring and summer. The scent of flowers fills the air, and the mountains are verdant. The sun begins to slowly reveal its warmth. Under the deep blue sky, white clouds float like fluffy cotton threads. On Qingmao Mountain, the Qingmao bamboo forest stands tall and straight, pointing towards the distant horizon. Wild grasses are growing everywhere, their nameless wildflowers adorning the bushes. A gentle breeze blows, stirring the grasses, immediately filling the air with the strong scent of pollen and green grass. On the mountainside are rows of terraced fields. Layer after layer, step after step, are planted with tender green rice seedlings. From afar, it looks like a vibrant, lush green sea. Within the terraced fields, many farmers are busy working. Some are cleaning irrigation canals. Others are rolling up their trousers and planting rice seedlings in the fields. These people are naturally ordinary people of other clans. The Gu Yue people do not need to do such menial work. Clang, clang, clang. The faint sound of bells drifted in the spring breeze. The farmers all straightened up, turning their heads to look down the mountain. They saw a caravan, like a long, colorful worm, slowly emerging from the other side of the mountain road. It's a caravan. That's right, it's May now. The caravan should be here by now. The adults knew it in their hearts. The children, however, immediately stopped playing in the water and mud, skipping and hopping towards the caravan. The southern border has the 10,000 Great Mountains, and Qingmao Mountain is just one of them. On each mountain peak are numerous mountain settlements, where people are bound together by blood ties. Between the mountains lie distant, gloomy forests, treacherous cliffs, and towering rock formations. The environment is complex, inhabited by many ferocious beasts or strange and bizarre ancient insects. Ordinary people would find it difficult to pass through. If only one person wanted to overcome these difficulties and obstacles, they would need to be at least a 3-stage Gu master. Therefore, the economy was difficult, and trade was challenging. The most important form of trade was through trading caravans. Only by forming large-scale trading caravans could the ancient masters unite, support each other, and overcome the hardships and obstacles on the road, traveling from one mountain to another. The arrival of the trading caravans was like a sudden rush of boiling water to the peaceful and tranquil Qingmao Mountain. In previous years, it was always April, but this year the trading caravans didn't arrive until May. But at least they finally came. The innkeeper breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this news. Business at the inn had been extremely slow in other months. He only hoped that the arrival of the trading caravans would bring in profits for the entire year. At the same time, he also kept some Qingzhou wine in his storehouse, which he could use to promote his goods to the merchants. Not only hotels, but also taverns would have bustling business. The merchants successively drove into Gu Yue Mountain Village, led by a bronze treasure toad. 1. This toad was 2.5 meters tall, its whole body orange. The toad's back was thick and wide, its surface covered with bumps and pimples, seemingly like the giant bronze nails on the city gates in ancient times. A large pile of goods was secured on the back of the bronze treasure toad with thick ropes. At a glance, it looked like the toad was carrying a huge sack of clothes. A middle-aged man with a round, pockmarked face and a round belly sat cross-legged on the toad's head. His eyes narrowed into slits as he bowed to the Gu Yue villagers standing around him. This man, surnamed Gu, named Fu, had a cultivation level of 4 transformations and was the leader of this merchant team. The toad leaped slightly upwards, with Gu Fu sitting firmly on its head. When it jumped, its height was no less than the second-floor window. Even if it landed, it would be higher than the first floor of the bamboo pavilion. The originally wide street suddenly seemed somewhat cramped. The bronze treasure toad, like a monstrous beast, charged into the densely packed bamboo pavilions. Following behind the toad was a huge, fat worm. Its eyes shone like the colors of glass windows. Vibrant and colorful, 15 meters long, its form similar to a silkworm. However, its exterior was covered in a thick, black, ceramic-like armor. Piles of goods were stacked on top of the armor, tied with ropes. Among the goods sat various ancient masters, some old, some young. There were also ordinary people, all strong martial artists, slowly following the fat, black beetle forward. Fat beetles passed by. Then there were colorful ostriches, large hairy mountain spiders, winged snakes, too, with 2 bird wings. But these animals were only a few. The majority were toads. These toads were similar to the bronze treasure toad, only their heads were a little smaller, as big as buffaloes and horses. Carrying goods and people, their bellies bulged. They hopped and jumped along. The merchant caravan slowly crawled deep into the mountain village. Along the way, the children widened their eyes, curiously watching, happily calling out, and admiring. The windows of the second floor opened one after another. The mountain people observed from a distance, some with wary eyes, others waving their hands to show enthusiastic welcome. "Brother Gu, you're a little late this year. You've had a hard journey." Gu Yue Bo, in his capacity as tribal chief, personally welcomed the leader of this merchant caravan. Gu Fu is a 4th-rank Gu master, so letting his 3rd-rank elder handle the reception would undoubtedly be disrespectful and contemptuous. Gu Fu clasped his hands together, sighing, "This year's journey hasn't been very smooth. We encountered a swarm of blood-red bats on the way, losing quite a few skilled fighters. Then we got caught in the fog at Mount Juabi, making it impossible to continue. Therefore, it delayed us considerably. I've kept Brother Gu Yue waiting." His words were extremely polite. Gu Yue's mountain stronghold needed a trading caravan to come annually, and the caravan needed harmony to prosper. "Ha ha, it's good that you've come. Please, the clan has prepared fine wine and food. Let me welcome you with a feast," Gu Yue Bo said, gesturing with his hand. "Clan leader, you're too kind, too kind," Gu Fu replied, feigning gratitude and apprehension. The trading caravan arrived at the Qingmao mountain area in the morning and set up camp at Gu Yue's mountain stronghold at noon. As night fell, a vast area of temporary shops formed around the stronghold. Tall, red, blue, yellow, and green canvas tents were erected. Between the tents, countless small sidewalk stalls were crammed in. Night fell, but the place was brightly lit with torches. A continuous stream of people poured in from within the camp. Some ordinary humans, others Gu masters. Children skipped and jumped, and the adults wore joyful expressions. Fang Yuan, alone, followed the crowd into the area. The bustling crowd gathered around the roadside stalls or near the entrances of the tents, constantly coming and going. The shouts of vendors echoed around. "Come here, take a look. High-grade blue sea cloud tea cakes. A sip of this tea is like being in paradise, even if you don't drink it. Cultivating this Gu tea is delicious, nutritious, and inexpensive. Only 5 yuan stones per block. Gu manly heavenly ox. A Gu master can instantly increase their strength by 1 ox. Don't miss out. Heart-knowing grass. Top-grade heart-knowing grass. Look at this quality. It's so fresh, like it was just picked. 1 pound for 2 spirit stones. Such a bargain." Fang Yuan paused slightly upon hearing this, and looked in the direction of the voice. He saw an ostrich pulling a 2-wheeled cart. On the cart was a pile of pale green grass. Each blade of grass was about a meter long, slender and only about the width of a fingernail. Some blades of grass had heart-shaped pink flower buds at the tips. Heart. Knowing grass is one of the supplementary foods for goo worms. Its value lies in its ability to nourish goo worms in combination with other foods. In other words, Fang Yuan needed to feed his moonlight goo worm 2 petals per meal. If he added a blade of heart-knowing grass, the moonlight goo worm would be full after eating just 1 petal of the moonlight orchid. A kilogram of mindcare grass costs only 2 spirit stones, and 10 moon orchid petals cost 1 spirit stone. A little calculation shows that mixing mindcare grass with goo worms is more profitable. Half a month ago, I killed Gao Wan, because I used the moonlight goo in class. I was fined 30 spirit stones. However, the Mo family compensated me 30, so it wasn't a loss. Recently, I've robbed twice, totaling 118 spirit stones. But lately, I've been constantly consuming refined intermediate-level true essence to nourish the 4 walls of my aperture. Consuming 3 spirit stones every day, adding the cost of raising goo worms, my own living expenses, and continuously buying green bamboo wine to invest in spirit stones. I only have 98 left. Since Fang Yuan's murder, his image of ruthless cruelty had been deeply ingrained in the minds of the students. And for a while, no one dared challenge him. This made his robbery extremely easy. Each time, only a very small number of people dared to resist him. Fang Yuan calculated for a moment, then shifted his gaze and continued towards the depths of this temporary shop. A crowd of people, all goo masters or students, surrounded the counter of the mindcare grass, vying to buy it with their primeval stones. Fang Yuan wasn't without money to buy the mindcare grass, but rather lacked the time. If I remember correctly, that Lai Tuo Ha Mo 3 will be in that shop. In my previous life, a goo master won it on the very first afternoon, thus making a large sum of money. I must hurry. I can't lose big because of a small loss. Chapter 40. Inside the purple gold rock lies a sleeping ancient toad. The further he went into the depths, the more magnificent and prosperous the place became. Small roadside stalls became fewer and fewer, while large tents became more and more numerous. He saw all sorts of large tents in red, blue, yellow, and green. Some were square-shaped, others cylindrical. Some had 2 pillars erected above the entrance curtained by a curtain, while others carried large red lanterns. Some were brightly lit inside, while others were dimly lit. Fang Yuan walked and observed, finally stopping at a gray tent. This is it. He looked around, noticing 2 pillars supporting the entrance. A pair of couplets were carved into the pillars using an incised technique. On the left, a small act of courage. Gain blessings in spring, summer, autumn, and winter. On the right, a great display of skill. Gain wealth from all directions. In the middle was a wooden sign. Time for a change of fortune. Indeed, this was a gambling den. This gambling den covered an area of 1 acre, already considered a large tent. Fang Yuan entered. Inside the tent, 3 rows of stalls were arranged on each side. On the stalls were piles of amber or fossils, some as small as a hand, others as large as wash basins, and some even larger enough to be as tall as a person. So they couldn't fit on the stalls and were simply placed on the ground. Unlike the bustling tent shops, this place was remarkably quiet. Groups of ancient practitioners stood in front of the stalls, some meticulously arranging stones, others carefully handling fossils, some discussing in hushed tones with their companions, and others negotiating prices with the shopkeeper or staff. However, whatever they were talking about, they did so softly, trying their best not to disturb others. This was a gambling den. In this ancient world, there were countless strange and bizarre ancient artifacts. Ancient insects had their own special food. Without food, ancient insects could only survive for a short time before dying. However, nature is both cruel and merciful to living beings. Even without food, ancient insects still have a chance of survival, falling into a deep sleep and sealing themselves. For example, the moonlight ancient insect, lacking the moon orchid petals, can seal itself. It will try to shrink its power, similar to hibernation, falling into a deep sleep. At this time, its body not only stops emitting a blue light, but also degenerates from a transparent, glassy state into a gray stone mass, covered by a layer of rock. Over time, this rock layer thickens and becomes heavier, forming a rough, solid rock. Similarly, the wineworm, if it seals itself, will form a white silkworm cocoon. It will curl up inside the cocoon and sleep soundly. Of course, this kind of slumbering sealing situation doesn't happen to every goo worm. The probability of it occurring is very small. Under normal circumstances, goo worms don't fall into a deep sleep but rather starve to death. Only a few goo worms seal themselves in special circumstances. Some goo masters, by chance, find these rough stones sealing goo worms or cocoons, awakening the sleeping goo worms within. Some gain a small advantage because of this. Others experience rapid promotions and a change in their life's direction. Similar situations occur frequently in the world of goo masters, often based on rumors, both true and false, fueling people's dreams. The rough stones that originated this gambling den are like that. Of course, these stones have an unclear appearance. Only by opening them can one determine whether goo worms are hidden inside. Like this small gambling den, out of 10 stones, 8 or 9 are real, with no goo worms inside. Even if a stone contains goo worms, they're not necessarily all alive. 8 or 9 out of 10 are dead. However, once you bet on a live goo worm, you can usually make a fortune. Such goo worms are extremely rare, so they either lead to rapid promotion or being robbed and murdered. Fang Yuan understood clearly in his heart. He was very knowledgeable about everything. In his previous life, he had also been part of a trading caravan and worked as an employee in a gambling den. Later, he even ran a gambling den even larger than this one. It was a medium-sized gambling den that cheated many gamblers. And he also made mistakes, being cheated several times by others who bet on valuable goo worms. Fang Yuan stood at the entrance for a while, his eyes scanning the area, before slowly walking to the left of the counter. Behind the counter, spaced a few meters apart, stood a shopkeeper and his staff, both male and female. They all wore green sashes around their waists, indicating they were not ordinary people but goo masters. The majority were low-level, with a few mid-level ones. Seeing Fang Yuan approach the counter, the female goo master closest to him immediately stepped forward, a smile on her face, and softly said, "Young master, what kind of goo worm are you looking for? Each stone on this counter costs 10 yuan stones. If this is your first time, feel free to go to the counter on the right. The stones there only cost 5 yuan stones. If you want something more exciting, feel free to go to the high-level counter just ahead. A rough stone costs 20 yuan stones." This was an experienced female goo master who had worked at the stone gambling den for quite some time. After seeing Fang Yuan enter, she deduced from his appearance, age, and height that he was a student. Those who gamble are all goo masters. There are no ordinary people. The students can only be considered probationary goo masters who have just begun their cultivation. Normally, due to the financial constraints of raising goo insects, how could they possibly have the spare money to gamble? Such students usually just go in to take a look, to broaden their horizons, and to enjoy the novelty. The vast majority of them only look, not buy. A few from better-off families might buy something to try, but usually they only buy the cheapest fossils. Therefore, the female goo master didn't have high expectations about how many stones Fang Yuan could buy. "I'll take a look first." Fang Yuan nodded expressionlessly at her and then began to observe intently. In his memory, this should be the stone gambling den, this stall. But 500 years is truly too long. Many things are extremely vague. Especially 500 years of memory, a truly enormous amount. Fang Yuan really doesn't remember very clearly. He vaguely remembered that in this year, on the first afternoon the trading team arrived. A lucky person spent 10 blocks of raw stones to buy a fossil with a purple gold color on its surface. He opened the stone on the spot and took out a Lai Tuo Ha Mo. Afterwards, this ancient toad, was bought by someone, and he made a considerable profit in raw stones. Fang Yuan looked for a while, his eyebrows slightly furrowed. On this counter, there were more than 20 fossils with a purple gold aura on their surface. Which block was hidden inside the Lai Tuo Ha Mo? Each stone here sells for 10 blocks of raw stones. Fang Yuan now has 98 blocks of raw stones on him. And according to his calculations, he can buy at most 9 blocks. However, in reality, he couldn't calculate it that way. Any risk and gamble must consider the consequences. Fang Yuan was no longer the naive child he once was. Nor did he consider himself a super gambler. He considered himself an ordinary person who was favored by fate and fell under the mockery of fate. I'm all alone, without any relatives, friends, or acquaintances to help me. I must save some raw stones to sustain myself and buy food to feed my goo worms. He did a quick calculation. After ensuring his basic needs, he could only afford to buy a maximum of 7 fossilized stones. This stone is adorned with star-like purple gold, but it's flat like a plate. It won't hide a Lai Tuo Ha Mo inside. This dazzling purple gold stone is only the size of a fist. If it really hides a Lai Tuo Ha Mo, it must be at least 3/10 larger than this one. This purple gold fossil is extremely large, but its surface is incredibly smooth, while the shell of Lai Tuo Ha Mo stones is mottled. Obviously, it's not. Fang Yuan continuously assessed and observed, eliminating and filtering. After the sealed goo worm goes into a deep sleep, it forms a fossilized mass, effectively blocking most detection methods in the world. The remaining detection methods are mostly harsh and brutal. Using them will directly kill the dying goo worm inside. Therefore, goo masters choosing stones can only rely on guesswork, experience, luck, or a sudden flash of inspiration. Otherwise, this place wouldn't be called a gambling den. Of course, this vast world is full of possibilities, and there are extremely rare, gentle detection methods that allow goo masters to know in advance whether a stone contains a hidden goo worm. Fang Yuan had heard some rumors in his previous life, but after verification, he found them to be false. Fang Yuan pondered to himself, if such a method truly existed, it must be a secret inheritance, held only by a very small number of mysterious individuals, and would not significantly impact the overall gambling industry. The Qingmao Mountains were somewhat better off. The further east one went, the more prevalent the gambling dens became. In the Silver Head Mountains, every mountain stronghold had a gambling den. Larger strongholds even had massive gambling dens clustered together. The 3 major strongholds with widespread gambling reputations, the Ban Shi, Gu Mu, and Shang King strongholds, had exceptionally large gambling dens. Each of these 3 massive gambling dens had a history of over 1,000 years. Even now, they remained bustling with activity, attracting a constant stream of gamblers. Nothing like any disturbances or sabotage had ever occurred. Today, this canvas tent could at best only be considered a small-scale gambling den. But if another 15-year-old boy came to this place, he would definitely be confused by these fossils, and even choosing a fossil would be purely a matter of guesswork. But Fang Yuan was different. First, he already knew part of the answer beforehand, so the range of choices suddenly narrowed down to 30 or less. Of course, choosing the single one from these more than 20 fossils was not an easy task. But Fang Yuan had 500 years of experience as a foundation. And relying on such a solid foundation, he observed for a while and filtered out 6 purple gold fossils that met the criteria. He was 80% confident that he could confirm The toad-shaped ancient toad was sleeping in one of those purple gold fossils. You've just finished watching episode 4 of the Reverend Insanity series on the Midnight Story Bureau YouTube channel. Please leave any comments or suggestions in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe to give me motivation to make more videos.